Did you know you can step aboard a real World War II warship just a short drive from Melbourne? At first glance, HMAS Castlemaine looks like an ordinary old ship, but it once protected Australia during one of the most dangerous periods in history. Today, we're exploring one of the last surviving Bathurst-class corvettes in the world. Along the way, I'll show you fascinating facts, hidden details most visitors miss, and let you know if it's actually worth visiting. Let's climb aboard. From the outside, HMAS Castlemaine isn't the biggest warship you'll ever see. In fact, that's exactly what made it so useful. These ships were designed to do almost everything. They escorted supply ships, they hunted submarines, they cleared dangerous sea mines, they even rescued survivors at sea. That's why they're often called the workhorses of the Royal Australian Navy. And here's something surprising. Although more than 50 Bathurst-class corvettes were built during World War II, only a handful still exist today, which already makes this ship pretty special. Here's something I didn't know before visiting. Did you know this ship wasn't built to be comfortable? Everything was designed to save space. The ceilings are low, the corridors are narrow, even the doors are smaller than what we're used to today. Now, here's a question for you. Could you live on this ship for weeks, maybe even months, with over 60 other sailors? Let me know in the comments, because after seeing inside, I'm not so sure I could. This is where the captain controlled the ship. It might look simple today, but during the war, every decision made here could mean life or death. Look closely, and you'll notice there aren't any giant computer screens. Everything relied on skill, maps, compasses, binoculars, and experience. Imagine trying to navigate through storms at night while watching for enemy submarines. Standing here today, it's hard to believe this quiet ship once sailed into a world at war. HMAS Castlemaine wasn't built to lead massive naval battles. Instead, she carried out the jobs that were just as important. She escorted merchant convoys carrying food, fuel, ammunition, and troops across dangerous waters. Without ships like this, supplies might never have reached the front lines. She also patrolled Australia's coastline and searched for enemy submarines lurking beneath the sea. Every patrol was different. Some were long and uneventful. Others carried the constant risk of attack. The crew never knew what the next day would bring. Now, imagine standing on this very deck, scanning the horizon for hours. No radar screens like we have today. No satellite navigation, just sharp eyes, experience, and teamwork. At night, things became even more challenging. The ocean was almost completely dark. The weather could change in an instant, and every strange shape on the horizon had to be treated as a possible threat. It's easy to look at HMAS Castlemaine as just another museum ship, but when you stop and think about what happened here, every deck, every gun, and every compartment starts to tell a different story. It's not just a ship, it's a reminder of the ordinary Australians who served in extraordinary circumstances. Behind every mission were ordinary Australians. Most of the crew were young men who left their families to serve during one of history's biggest conflicts. For weeks at a time, this ship became their home. They slept in these cramped bunks, shared every meal together, worked long shifts, and depended on one another every single day. Walking through these spaces makes you realize history isn't just about ships or battles. It's about the people who lived through them. Imagine being just 18 or 20 years old, far from home, not knowing when you'd see your family again. Every day brought new challenges, from rough seas to long hours on duty. Yet despite the hardships, the crew had to trust one another completely. That teamwork kept the ship running and helped everyone get through the toughest moments. Standing here today, it's easy to admire the ship itself, but it's the stories of the people who served aboard her that leave the biggest impression. And that's what makes HMAS Castlemaine so special. And here's something else to think about. The sailors didn't have the technology we rely on today. No smartphones, no internet, no way to video call their families back home. Once the ship left port, communication with loved ones was extremely limited. For many, weeks or even months could pass before they received a letter. Life on board followed a strict routine: standing watch, maintaining the ship, cleaning, training, and always being ready in case of an emergency. It wasn't glamorous. It was demanding, exhausting work. But thanks to the dedication of crews like these, HMAS Castlemaine successfully carried out its missions and eventually returned home. If I had to pick my favorite spot on the ship, it would definitely be right here at the bow, beside the main gun. Standing here gives you an uninterrupted view of the water ahead. It's easy to imagine what the crew might have seen during wartime. If an enemy ship or submarine appeared on the horizon, this would have been one of the first lines of defense. Thankfully, today, the only thing you'll be aiming at is your camera. But standing beside this gun really gives you a sense of the responsibility the crew carried every time they sailed into open waters. I also love how peaceful it is now. Instead of the sound of gunfire, you hear waves gently hitting the hull, seagulls flying overhead, and the breeze coming in from Port Phillip Bay. It's amazing how a place once built for war has become a place where people can stop, reflect, and learn about Australia's history. For me, that's what makes HMAS Castlemaine so special. It's not just about seeing an old warship. It's about standing where history actually happened and imagining the people who once stood in this very same spot. So, is HMAS Castlemaine actually worth visiting? For me, absolutely. Especially if you enjoy history, museums, photography, or you're simply looking for something different around Melbourne. Even if you're not a huge history buff, walking through a genuine World War II warship is an experience you don't get every day. It's one thing to read about history in a book, but it's completely different when you're standing in the same spaces where Australian sailors once lived and worked. What I also enjoyed was that you can explore the ship at your own pace. There are information displays throughout the ship explaining what each area was used for, so you're constantly learning as you move from one section to the next. The volunteers deserve a special mention too. They're friendly, knowledgeable, and genuinely passionate about preserving the ship's history. If you have any questions, they're more than happy to share stories and interesting facts that you won't always find on the information boards. Another thing I liked is that the ship still feels authentic. It hasn't been turned into a flashy attraction. Instead, it gives you a realistic glimpse into what life aboard a wartime naval vessel was really like. I'd recommend allowing around 1 to 2 hours for your visit. And if you're already exploring Williamstown, it's an easy stop to include in your day. Whether you're visiting with family, traveling solo, or bringing friends, HMAS Castlemaine offers a unique experience that's both educational and memorable. For me, it's one of those hidden places that's definitely worth visiting at least once. Before you plan your visit, here are a few tips that might help. HMAS Castlemaine is moored at Gem Pier in Williamstown, only about a 25-minute drive from Melbourne's CBD. If you're driving, you'll find paid and time-limited parking around the waterfront, so it's worth checking the signs before you leave your car. Don't have a car? No problem. You can catch a train to Williamstown Station, and from there, it's only a pleasant walk to the ship. I'd also recommend wearing comfortable shoes because you'll be climbing steep ladders, walking through narrow passageways, and spending plenty of time exploring the different decks. And don't rush off once you've finished your tour. Williamstown is well worth exploring on its own. Take a stroll along the waterfront, grab a coffee or lunch at one of the local cafes, watch the boats come and go from the harbor, or simply enjoy the relaxed atmosphere. It's the perfect way to turn your visit into a relaxing half-day trip, combining Australian naval history with one of Melbourne's most charming seaside suburbs. Time for the Toots score. History, 10 out of 10. You don't just learn about Australia's naval history, you actually get to walk through it. Uniqueness, 10 out of 10. How often do you get the chance to explore an authentic World War II warship? Value for money, 9 out of 10. For the experience you get, I think it's excellent value, especially if you enjoy history and museums. Family friendly, 8 out of 10. Kids who love ships and military history will have a great time, although younger children may find some areas a little challenging because of the steep ladders. Photography, 9 out of 10. Whether you're into cinematic videos or photography, there are plenty of great angles both on board and around the waterfront. Accessibility, 7 out of 10. Because this is an original wartime ship, there are steep stairs, narrow passageways, and uneven surfaces, so it may not be suitable for everyone. So, my overall Toots score is 9.2 out of 10. HMAS Castlemaine isn't just another museum, it's a place where you can step aboard a real piece of Australian history, imagine what life was like during World War II, and leave with a much deeper appreciation for the people who served. For me, it's easily one of Melbourne's best hidden gems, and a place I'd happily recommend to anyone looking for a unique day trip. Who would have thought one of Australia's most fascinating World War II warships was hiding right here in Williamstown? Whether you're into history or simply looking for a unique day trip, HMAS Castlemaine is well worth adding to your list. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And let me know in the comments. Could you survive living on this ship during World War II? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure as we uncover more hidden gems across Australia with Toots in Straya.